Hello to whoever is watching, and thank you for clicking on this video. This is the first video ever of this series I might do. What right now at least I'm calling Quick Talks. Basically it's a shorter version of my Let's Talk About It videos, where instead of covering one film, I'll talk about multiple, and I'll just give my thoughts on them a little bit, but I won't be going into as much detail as I would in a normal Let's Talk About It video. Now, you might hate this idea, that's completely fine. This really is just a test to see if people like this. And if people do, it's more content coming out there. The film Twister is really fun. It definitely is showing its age slightly with some of the CGI effects, but personally I didn't mind it. The film is very character driven, like if the characters were slightly different, the plot would went an entire different direction. But all the characters are really fun in it, and even the characters who barely get scenes, you find out stuff about them. And it does a really good job at showing the kind of family connection everyone has together, and it just works really well. It leads to this really entertaining, fun film with some really cool storm effects and sequences. Also, just the story of someone needing to let go of their trauma and of their obsession over that trauma is really interesting. I quite like how it's handled in the story, and the character who has that trauma is done really well. I would probably give this film 4 stars, but also I could see myself giving it 5. It's definitely a film I'll probably rewatch in the future because, like I said before, it is just very entertaining.
Cow, I gotta go, Julia, we got cows!
Twisters is the sequel to Twister, and like the first movie, it is really good. And I only have a couple of complaints about this movie, such as I feel like it's a bit too similar to the first movie, but I do understand that this film is meant to be a sort of reboot, a sequel, a requel, where someone who hasn't seen the first movie could easily hop on to this and watch it. All the actors are doing a pretty decent job. Glenn Powell is pretty good in it as this kind of very slightly overconfident cowboy showman-esque character. And even the main character, Kate, is done really well, and I haven't seen the actress in much. I believe she's slightly new to films. I could be wrong, I just haven't seen her in much. But she does also a really good job at doing that character's story and her struggle with trauma and just everything else what comes with that character. The CGI in the movie looks incredible, like it looks great, and it leads to a lot of cool sequences. And like the first movie, I'll probably rate this film quite high. I feel like I'd give it 5 stars, but also the negatives could push it to a 4 star. Either way, still a very entertaining film that I suggest you go see.
Sometimes the old ways are better than the new.
Well, you can always trust a guy who puts his face on a t-shirt.
Monkey Man is probably my favourite action film that has came out recently. It's just... And this is apparently Dev Patel's first time directing, and he did good. Like, the action scenes in this film are really well choreographed. I don't know who was doing the stunt stuff for it, but it's just great, and it looks amazing. Everything has this kind of neon colour to it in some scenes, and the actual revenge story is just really interesting. My only big complaint about the film is that he should have worn the mask at the end of the movie. I know some people have said it's because he wanted for the person to see who he was when killing him, and I understand that. I just think it would have been cool if he wore the mask at the end of the film, but there might have been a reason, such as like people are saying he wanted them to see his face, or because it was too difficult to do fight stuff with the mask on. 'Cause I could see that being an issue, especially because the final act has so much really good fight choreography. Even also this film is violent as hell, another really good aspect of it. But yeah, overall, Monkey Man is a great action film, and if you haven't seen it, I heavily suggest watching it. I give it 5 stars. The film Maxxxine is a film I was interested in and came out not liking it that much. I definitely still like the Pearl and X. In my opinion, Pearl is a lot better than X. But Maxxxine just wasn't it, in my opinion. I feel like it was kind of a mess, and they didn't really know what they were wanting to do. Now, it could definitely be said that the weird style and kind of strange plot is done on purpose, and some people might like it for that. But personally, I just didn't enjoy it, and I do think it looks good. The film visually has a really cool style to it, but the story just felt very messy to me. I'd give it 3 stars, but if you're still interested in the trilogy, so X, Pearl and Maxxxine, I do suggest checking it out. It might be for you, but I personally just did not like it.
Name 5 celebrities who got their start in horror movies.
Jamie Lee Curtis, John Travolta, Demi Moore, Brooke Shields, and
Maxxxine fucking Minx.
The film Longlegs is a film I'm slightly mixed on. Now, I don't hate the movie, to be honest. I think it looks amazing. I'm actually excited to see what this director directs next, because Longlegs just has a very specific look to a movie that I'd love to see in more stuff. It kinda gives off Wes Anderson vibes, but also not, cause it isn't as orange and sunny. It's much more kind of reds and stuff. But the film is, for most part, pretty decent. I do think the actors are all doing a good job, especially Nick Cage. But I do think I was expecting something different. And that's probably because a lot of people promoted this movie as Silence of the Lambs, in my opinion, it is not Silence of the Lambs. It's very much its own thing. But what it is isn't necessarily bad. I do think it was a bad idea to market the film as the scariest film this year. A lot of horror movies do this. In my opinion, I think it's stupid either way. Even if the film is like creepy, still a very stupid marketing strategy. The ARG stuff they did though, that was cool. I kinda hope we see more films try and experiment with that. But personally, I didn't find Longlegs necessarily scary. It does have some really tense and kind of creepy moments, but I wouldn't call it scary. But also, that's very subjective. People can find different things scary, and in my opinion, it didn't make the movie necessarily bad. I just didn't find some of the stuff as scary as some people might. But it still is a pretty decent horror movie. I still don't know what exactly to rate it, but I would definitely say check it out if you're interested, but try and go in with a bit of an open mind. Don't think it's going to be a masterpiece, and I don't think it's going to be the worst thing ever. Like, go at a neutral stance on the movie, if that makes sense.
Is it scary being a lady FBI agent?
Yeah.
Take a nice long look.
Anyway, that's all of the films I want to discuss right now. If you liked this video, then you can like it. If you didn't, you can dislike it. That's completely fine. If you want, you can comment your thoughts on the movies I talked about. If this video gets liked enough or seen enough, I may make other videos like this. This isn't exactly a revolutionary idea. Multiple other YouTube channels have done the idea of reviewing films altogether in a short kind of video. I just decided, let's try it and see what people think. But yeah, thank you for watching. That's all, and goodbye.